The Apple AirPower, considered by most to be a pipe dream, would have been the epitome of convenience for the diehard Apple fan, with its ability to not only wirelessly charge three of the most commonly used peripherals, but with the added lightness of being able to just drop your product onto the pad rather than trying to micro adjust to find the coils underneath. And I initially intended to have this discussion about viable options where the relative spirit of AirPower might live on. As it turns out, there's more and more information to suggest that the AirPower may be down but not out. And so this discussion isn't entirely posthumous. But in the meantime, what are the viable alternatives? Do you need to have all three devices to even be in the market for such a product? Or is there something out there for someone who has some, but not all of the products? And what about all those other variable price points with variable build qualities that exist on the marketplaces out there? How do we make a decision? Well, in the process of making that decision, I came down to two main contenders: the Mophie 3-in-1 wireless charging pad and the Nomad Base Station Apple Watch Edition. Both designed with a sleek and discreet tone, both of high standard, and both with the intent to function reliably. So how does one decide? Now, Mophie has a variety of options for you to choose from. There is the dual coil 2-in-1 that does not have the Apple Watch charger, and then there's the 3-in-1 which has the Apple Watch, iPhone, and AirPod designated charging sections. In addition, the first one actually came out with a glossy piano-like finish, whereas the later iterations actually included a more premium feeling suede-esque felt finish. Now, I don't own AirPods, so I've been using this as an iPhone/Apple Watch combined charging station. The charger does indeed fast charge, so long as you place it somewhere in the near precise area needed to connect with the coil, but aside from that point, everything works as expected. No problem. Now the Nomad, on the other hand, that on the outset has a more premium feel, and that may sway you on your immediate decision given the fact that it's the same price point as the Mophie, $139 to $149. It's built like most Mac products with an aluminum foundation, adding a bit of heft, and then the charging pad is actually a taut black leather, adding a premium aesthetic. This of course is highlighted when you place it in your work desk or nightstand, and it begins to blend into the surrounding decor as a thoughtfully crafted product of style and luxury. Now the Nomad also comes in its variations. You have the Base Station Apple Watch Edition, and then you have the one where you can opt out of the Apple Watch, which is a little bit less expensive. But in addition to that, I feel that the Nomad is designed more with a wider consumer base in mind. You see, the coils that are underneath the leather padding are actually 3 across, and this may not seem like a big deal. But when you compare that to the Mophie, well, the Mophie starts to feel like a product of exclusion rather than inclusion. Let me explain. You see, when I got my first apartment, it was a spacious L-shaped studio where you walk into a small foyer. To the left was a kitchen, to the right, the bathroom, and straight ahead was the living space. The far wall was floor-to-ceiling windows, and to the right, into the L, next to the living space, was the bedroom area with a walk-in closet, and then this little space, a 3x3.5 foot alcove. Now, this is a lovely place to put a dog bed or a specifically shaped bookshelf or a writing desk if you're into facing a dark corner while the rest of the apartment and all the light is behind you. Or maybe you just got a brand new life-size marble statue from the local museum. Perfect for that. But the thing is, the apartment was priced by square foot, and the square footage of that alcove was actually included as usable square footage, and therefore of the price of the apartment. And the thing is, with the bedroom area being right there, if you place the bed or any of the furniture for the bedroom in most of the normal positions, you're most likely to render that space unusable. And that's my problem with the Mophie. You see, the Mophie was designed to charge the Apple Watch, iPhone, and AirPods all together. But it was designed specifically for those three things, and it just settles if you only have 2 of them. And so someone like me who does not have, nor will ever get, AirPods, I'm relegated to use the designated Apple Watch section and iPhone section and have this space with indentation for the AirPods just staring back at me, never to be used. And when you have something like the Nomad allowing you to use the entire real estate if you have two products and then expand to allow the third, it not only feels more thoughtful, but it highlights the fact that on the Mophie, well, your phone's always going to look like an NBA player laying in a full-size bed. There are other glaring problems with the Mophie that stood out to me. The build quality, while not cheap by any measure, just doesn't feel as refined as the Nomad. The ridge around the edge is raised, so when you rest the phone down, it's never in contact with the gentle on-glass felt, which sort of defeats the point. And yes, the Apple Watch can be used in nightstand mode, displaying the time like an alarm clock, but the dock for the watch actually has this little groove meant for the digital crown, which is great, until you realize that the screen on the watch doesn't orient to that position. So obviously you can imagine which of the two I decided to go with. The Nomad is more refined in its design, it's more versatile depending on which products you own, and at the same price point. But you'd be wrong. Yes, all of the above things about the Nomad are true, but the Nomad is not without its flaws. The leather surface, while padded, feels very firm. The coils are 3 across, which is useful for different orientations of the phone. But it still falls victim to that sniper level accuracy you need to get the phone to even charge. And the dock for the watch, it does look like a proprietary Apple Watch charger, but the magnet is just weak, extremely weak. And this last point may actually be the reason for my final gripe, which is probably the most relatable. You see, every morning when I wake up to the sound of the Apple Watch letting off that charging chime every 20 to 30 seconds because the charger thinks that it's disconnecting and then reconnecting. That's annoying. Now, with all this said, there is a new iteration of the base station where the Apple Watch section can actually be a cutout where you place the original Apple Watch charger, which is about $30 cheaper in and of itself. And the base station that I have now is actually sold out what looks like permanently on their website, though you can still find it as well as the Mophie at other third-party sites like Best Buy and Target for a little bit cheaper. That being said, it is now time to find out just how fast these two chargers go around our track. Just kidding. So why all this ambivalence in my review? Well, because these questions existed when I was trying to find out which one to get, and I decided to present them to hopefully provide some insight to you as to which pros and cons matter to you more. And yes, there are $20 and $30 chargers out there, which is fine if you're comfortable getting something that feels very loudly like cheap plastic and is made of what seems like leftover USB ports, which didn't work on the one that I got. But at the end of the day, what I've realized is if you want something that is reliably functional and is built to the level of standard of the products they are meant to serve, you ultimately need to become comfortable with that $150 price point, which is going to be a lot easier to be comfortable with when the AirPower comes out, because that's almost certainly going to be more expensive than both of these. Congratulations, you made it to the end of this video. Like the video if you found some value in it, and if you did like it, share it with a friend who might benefit from some of this information. If you hated it, share it with an enemy, let them suffer. Check out the links in the description below. I don't have any affiliations, but I did link to the original websites for both of these products. Although, like I said, you do want to shop around to see if you can find a better price. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.